Good day, ladies and gentlemen. This is Megan Kargher with the COTO Report, and it was my happy privilege to travel to Los Angeles to visit with Mr. Jordan Maxwell. He is one of the world's foremost authorities on occult symbolism and the New World Order and Illuminati. He has spent more than 50 years researching the subjects we're going to talk about today, and he's written numerous books and recorded a number of videos, all of which are available on his website, jordanmaxwell.com. His books and videos include The Book Your Church Does Not Want You to Read, The Basic Slideshow Presentation, Dawn of a New Day, Priesthood of the Illus, and many others. Without further ado, I bring you Jordan Maxwell. Thank you for having me here today.
Thank you for inviting me.
I think I'd really just like to sort of jump right into it and to talk to you a bit about the history of symbolism, and a bit about the symbols that we sort of see every day right there in your face, and people are not recognizing what they mean or why they're there.
Yeah, that's a very big problem. We've been so propagandized and trained in schools. We've been trained in our homes and in schools to jump when the bell rings. You know, that's all school is to teach you how to jump when the bell rings. You know, you're in one class, the bell rings, that means you get up and go to another class, you do this and you do that, and then the bell rings. So that's all schools are designed to do, is to teach you how to jump when the bell rings and your masters tell you what to do. And so the same thing is true in our vision. You know, the Bible scripture that says where there is no vision, the people perish. That's what's happening with the world. That scripture is really interesting. It says where there is no vision, the people perish. And then, of course, in the New Testament, it also has Jesus saying, many will look with their eyes but not see. So that has always been a problem for thousands of years. The great mystics and the great religious writings and teachers have always talked about how people do not see things. Unless you point it out to them, they're going to go right past symbols and emblems and never even suspect what they're looking at. And unfortunately, in America, especially, even when you point things out to Americans, they don't even care. They don't see any value in it, in knowing about such things. But when you begin to look at the symbols of harlotry, flags, coats of arms, national coats of arms, corporate seals, logos for big corporations, and there was a movie many years ago called A Beautiful Mind, where the doctor was able to, because of his gift of pattern recognition, was able to see encoded things in magazines and newspapers or whatever, and he was a master decoder of codes because it was just obvious to him. Well, it's the same idea struck me when I was in my mid-teens, that there seems to be patterns, and nobody told me this, I just began to see it, that there were patterns in symbols and emblems and words and terms and coats of arms, as I said, and flags around the world. It didn't take me very long to figure out that there is a world of symbolism that's organized. It's very highly organized around the world to communicate through mass media, through commerce, through government. It's an incredible world we live in of communications through visual symbols and emblems. Classic example, you go to in Washington, D.C., if you go on television any night to CNN or any of those news, or even on the regular news at night in television, and you will see in Washington, D.C., some crooked politician making some kind of a big speech about something, and they're all crooked. But you see the politicians making a speech in Washington, D.C., and it's where the president, in that room where the president gives his State of the Union message. And I have asked so many people, and they've seen that room, they know where it is. And I said, well, did you ever see the symbols, which are sitting on both sides of the podium where the president stands, the symbols? They've never even noticed. And I said, my God, they're about 8 to 10 foot high, and they're right on both sides of where the president's standing. And those symbols, next time you get a chance, look at the podium, and don't look at the goofball and the paid lackey, who we call politicians in America. They used to be called criminals, but we call them politicians today. And
well, if you're bad at it, you're a criminal. If you're good at it, you're a politician.
well, that's a much better way of saying it. So, yeah, if you're clumsy and bad at it, you're a criminal and you get caught. And if you're very good, then you're a politician. But anyway, on both sides of a presidential podium is is a symbol called a fasci, or a fasces. It's a bundle of sticks with a hatchet head. And it's an incredibly important symbol. It symbolizes world fascism. And it's a symbol that came out of the ancient world but was picked up by the Romans, and it began to be very important in the Roman Empire, the fascist symbol, which is a bundle of sticks, like I said, tied in crosses. You'll see it's tied in crosses, and it has a hatchet head. The reason why well, first of all, the symbolism of the bundle of sticks. The idea was that one stick can be broken. 2 or 3 sticks can also be broken. But if you have a bundle of sticks and you tie them together as one unit, now you've got power. Well, George Bush called this fascist idea a coalition of governments. We like to say that, well, America has a coalition, which means we're all a bunch of fascists. We're all collected together like a gang. We've got the Crips and the Bloods and the Hells Angels, and we've got all these gangs, and we collect them together as one unit. And it's politically we call it a coalition of governments. No, it's just a bunch of fascists coming together to bully the world. And so, but that's the symbol on both sides of the presidential podium, is world fascist symbols, the fasci. Just one example of thousands that you can see every day. People see the American flag, the stars and stripes, having no idea in the world, even Americans have no idea in the world, that's not an American flag. It's a U.S. flag, the United States flag. It's not an American flag. How many people know that the U.S. is a term this country would call the United States of America, is a republic, but the word United States in law means a corporation, a privately owned company. And so all corporations or privately owned companies, by law, if you're incorporated, you have to have a president. It's called corporate law. So you must have a president. And corporate law says if you're going to be a corporation, anybody can have a corporation, but you got to follow the rules. You got to have a president, a vice president, and a secretary treasurer. That you have to have if you're going to be a corporation. So today, there's a privately owned company in this country called United States Corporation.